What's going on, everybody? This is MusicXclusives. I'm your host, Terzel Ron, and today we are here joined by the lovely KGoddess.
The Addy, but don't make it hot. I sing you the Addy, but don't make it hot. I sing you the Addy, but don't make it hot.
Thank you for being in the building today.
Of course.
Tell me how your day went. How's your day been going?
How has my day been going? My day was pretty stressful. All of my days is stressful.
You want to tell me about it?
Just normal stuff. You know, when you in the music industry, everything is stressful and you gotta just still work.
Since we're on the topic of like stuff being hard in the music industry, what's been the hardest part for you?
The hardest part for me is just being a woman in this industry in general. When you're a female artist, for some reason, you can't do the same shit that these men do without being labeled hard-headed, somebody with an attitude, hard to work with. But when you're a man, you're very stern and you're eager about your career. So yeah. It's just being a female in the industry. I guess that's the hardest part.
Trying to stand your ground on certain things, but you know they will call you hard to work with and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It has to be like a tough situation, but I know exactly what you're talking about. I see it all the time. You know what I mean? But you have a lot of tenacity as an artist, and you're still here today.
Yeah.
And you're doing great things in your career. So
yes.
I think if anything, that's a compliment to you and a shout out to you, because you maneuvering through the BS.
Yeah, it's a compliment, it's a shout out, but it's annoying. Yeah. And that's why I dropped my new single, Annoying.
Annoyed on January 4th. You saw that smooth plug?
Yes.
You dropped your single,
I did that, right?
Annoyed on January 4th, just a couple days ago. Tell me about the process of making that song.
Okay, so I went, in the beginning of my career, I was one of those hard-headed artists that felt like she knew it all. So
that's honest.
Yeah, that's real honest. And in the beginning of my career, I didn't want to hear nothing. I didn't want to take no advice. I was really just hard-headed. And when it came down to it, I ruined a lot of relationships. And with me ruining a lot of relationships, that put a stigma on my name that I didn't know about until like later down the line. And then now in 2023, I'm hearing the same stigma that's been on my name for years, when I've learned from my past mistakes. I've changed who I am as a person, as an individual, and as an artist. And I bust my ass to be where I'm at right now, and I just feel like a lot of people wasn't giving me the credit that's due. So I've been taking a lot of meetings. Fast forward, I've been taking a lot of meetings lately, and in those meetings certain topics come up, and the certain topics is like the normal stuff. Oh, she's hard-headed, she don't listen, she got an attitude problem, she's in a gang, etc., etc.
So that's the reputation.
That's the reputation. But it's like, but these men that y'all signing every day is doing the same thing. They're gangbanging, they're rapping about killing, they're hard-headed, they have attitudes, they're cursing people out, they fighting in clubs, they're shooting at people, and
that's how you get signed.
You know what I'm saying? Right. You know what I'm saying? But when it's a woman, it's a female, they look at you like you're problematic, and they don't want to work with you, and they throw more dirt on your name for other people not to work with you. So lately I've been doing these meetings, and ironically, the people that I've been doing the meetings with, they love the stigma that's on my name, because they like the stigma that's on your name. That tells me that you have a story, and the fact that you're still going and your name is still top 10 in the city shows me that you have a story. So with the song Annoyed, I just was annoyed with everything that I kept hearing, because here I go inside of meetings, positivity, excited from touching the Summer Jam stage, Rolling Loud stages, and I'm just excited to be in these meetings all over again, because a lot of labels didn't want to work with me at one time and point. So now I feel like getting these meetings is like, okay, they seeing a new version of me, they seeing the evolvement of me, and then hearing certain stuff be brought up, it was annoying. It was aggravating me. It was making me angry, because it's like, damn, talk about all the good that I do for my community. Talk about everything that I'm doing.
You do a bunch of give backs.
Yeah, so it's like with everything that I do, the artists that I have signed is being forced to do these give backs. They're being forced to help their community. They don't even want to do it. So talk about the good. So with Annoyed, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go into 2023, and I'm gonna just put my foot down and let everybody know. I recorded the song on New Year's Eve, and then I dropped it on the 4th.
That must be real tough when your reputation precedes you, because it's like anything that you do, it's not going to change it.
Yep.
People are still going to have that perception of you. And at a certain point, you just have to do what you got to do.
Yep.
And live your best life. And, you know, they're not going to like you regardless. So
Yeah, and say, fuck them. We outside. We going to rap about it now.
Yeah, and you know, you kill them with success.
Yes.
As you have been. So, you know, you've talked about, like, you know, performing at Rolling Loud. And you've done a bunch of sold out shows.
Yes.
You recently sold out SOBs.
Yes.
What was that like? What is that feeling like? Because that really is proving people wrong. So what does that feel like?
That was an amazing feeling. That feeling with selling out SOBs. You know, SOBs is like a big thing in New York. Every artist, big artist that comes to New York, the first stage that they touch is SOBs.
Absolutely.
And it felt amazing. And it felt even more amazing because leading up to the show, I felt like I was cursing so many people out. I was cursing out family members. I was cursing out my everyday peers. I was cursing out my friends because I felt like nobody wanted to buy a ticket to support me. Everybody felt like they should have been able to get in free.
Really?
Yeah. Damn. So only one person. I have a big ass family. I have family from down south. I have family all over the place. Yeah. And only one person from my family came. None of my peers from the hood that I grew up with came. I had one person from my hood. I had him put on the show, so he opened up for me. Yeah. So he came, you know, him. But besides that, like, none of my everyday peers, none of the people that I kick it with, chill with, call it, confide in, nobody came. Like, none of my people that I wanted there that I felt like I actually love, none of them came. So knowing that prior to the show, and I'm downstairs and I'm getting ready, I'm aggravated, I'm crying, you know, it's a lot of emotions built up. And then I go upstairs to get ready to touch the stage and I see a fucking sold out crowd with nothing but fans and supporters. It just made me feel like, you know, it was just God showing me like, okay, maybe you might not have your hood to support you. You might not have your peers to support you, your everyday people that you want to support you. You might not have the celebrities who you show a bunch of love to and you celebrating their birthdays and risking your money to buy them gifts. Yeah. But you got a core fan base, and that's who you do it for. So it felt good, and it helped me to remind me who I am.
Does it ever feel like when the people who you came up with don't support you, that the things you did was just pointless?
Yes.
You did everything for no reason?
Yes, all the time.
You might as well have just like did what you really wanted to do, which is probably stay in the house, chill.
Yep. I feel like that all the time. And then, you know, it'll come a time and point to where I'm working on something really big or I'm working on something that I feel like I won't have an opportunity to do. And then I'll become successful at it. And I would say to myself, well, maybe I'm becoming successful because of the people I do support that I don't get support back in from return. Maybe I'm becoming successful for the unfortunate people that I do help. So my blessings end up coming. So yeah, I'm human. So some things bother me, but I try not to let it bother me.
What is the thing that you use to keep you grounded? Because you are super humble, super down to earth, but we you know, you get popping. You know, there's not even a question about that. And also, you make great music. So it's like, what reminds you to just be humble, even in the midst of all this adversity? What
reminds me to be humble in the midst of all adversity is the fact that my grandmother is still living in the projects. She's still living in Brownsville projects. So I just remind myself every day what I'm doing it for. I'm doing it to get my grandmother out of the hood. I'm doing it so that way my little brother, when he grows up, he's not another statistics to the jail, to the prison system, the judicial system, or, you know, just being killed in these streets. I do it for the past version of myself. I feel like the past version of myself couldn't see me being this far now. So I do it for that, and I do it for my kids that I have in the future.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you know what you do it for, and that keeps you grounded.
Yeah.
Your new single with Cincy Molly is called "Make It Hot."
Yes.
What was it like working with her?
It was super dope working with Cincy Molly. And it was super dope because, like I said, I still have friends from the label, and Cincy used to be signed to Def Jam. And she still works for like the A&Rs and stuff at Def Jam. And they actually reached out to me and they was like, hey, do you know this girl named Cincy Molly? And I ran across Cincy Molly's music before from other outlets that she worked with that I have relationships with and things like that. So I was like, yeah, I heard her music, whatever. He's like, all right, well, she's in town and, you know, she want to work with you. So let's get it. Let's set the studio up.
She requested you?
she requested me.
Wow.
And it was like, let's get it. Let's set the studio up, et cetera, et cetera. I called my engineers. I called about 3 different engineers to try to see if the studios was available. My main engineer ended up responding back. I got the studio, set the studio up for her. Once I actually got to the studio, I'm thinking that Cincy Molly already had a song that she wanted me on. She knew the vibe, whatever. When I got there, this girl didn't have nothing. She looked at me. She was like, "You got beats?" And I was like, "Where your beats at?" Like, you know what I'm saying? So we did that. We ended up finally finding a beat after like an hour or 2 of searching through beats. And then we found the beat that we liked.
Yeah.
And the A&R at Def Jam, we found the beat that we liked, but before we found the beat that we liked, it was a different beat. So Cincy had went inside of the booth and she started recording. So when she started recording, the A&R at Def Jam was talking to me. He was like, she's in New York. Right now, what's hot in New York is drill. And I'm looking at him and I'm telling him, I'm tired of doing drill though. He like, I get it,
Are
but
you?
I'm tired. Yeah, I'm tired.
Why?
You wouldn't think that because I
Why
dropped
is
so
that?
much drill. It's just everything sound the same to me. I'm tired of it.
Grr.
I'm over it.
So you
I'm
wanna?
over
What do
it.
you wanna like actually?
I mean, I do everything. So
Like what kind of? If you could
I
really
do all types of
monetize like
music.
one style of music forever, you won't have to worry about that part. What kind of music would you like to make?
see, I can't say that because drill will be in the mix of my music, but just doing
I feel
drill
like you
all
sing a
day
little
long.
bit.
Yeah, I do. I sing. I do everything. Yeah, I got a whole bunch of different sounds. But so I told him, I'm like, I'm tired of doing drill.
Yeah.
And he was like, I get that, but she's from Texas. She's in New York, so she wants to do your sound. She wants to do drill.
Yeah.
So he was like, I think you switch the beat, and on top of that, you might not like this, but you're gonna have to set the tone. I'm like, what you mean I gotta set that? You mean I gotta go first? Like, I was expecting to come here to just do my verse and leave. Right. He like, you gonna have to set the tone. She's in your city. If you go to Texas, that's different. But she's in New York. So we ended up finding a beat. Shout out to Jay Binga. And I ended up setting the tone and we did that. We made it hot.
I want to ask you, because I think other artists can relate to this. What's been like the process working with other artists? Is it? I know you had a great experience with Cincy Molly. You had a great experience with a bunch of people, I bet. But when does it get tough?
It gets tough especially when you have relationships with artists before you became an artist. Like I have a lot of relationships with a lot of rappers that knew of me and known me before I was a rapper. And the toughest studio session I've had was with this rapper recently, a male rapper. And he just felt like, being that he knew me before me rapping, I should take his lead on how to rap. No. Like, what? No. Like, I don't know what you think this is. Like, so every time I was rapping, he just kept stopping me and, you should say it like this. You should do it. If you don't sit your ass down before I leave out of the studio session, you understand what I'm saying? So I would say that's the hardest thing. Like, men just feeling like because you're a woman, they could try to tell you what to do, when it's like, if I was another nigga standing here rapping, you wouldn't do that.
Well, KGoddess, thank you for stopping by, MusicXclusives, and we look forward to all your new endeavors and future projects, and we rooting for you.
We outside.
Bow.